The mayor of Boston, the heart and soul of the Boston Red Sox, has officially found a new home in Cooperstown, New York. That's right, David Ortiz is a Hall of Famer. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and today is an extremely special day to me and to every Red Sox fan around the world. I'm sure you guys are feeling the exact same way. David Ortiz was officially inducted into the Hall of Fame about 5 minutes before I recorded this with a percentage of 77.9%. What makes David Ortiz's introduction special is that not only was he one of very few first ballot Hall of Famers, but he was also the only person inducted from his class. Now, unfortunately, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and Curt Schilling are no longer going to be on the ballot. They missed for the 10th and final year, which stinks a lot, but we're not going to focus on that today. Instead, we are going to focus on why David Ortiz getting into the Hall of Fame is just as important to the Red Sox as it is to baseball in Boston in general. But before I get into that, do me a favor if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And also, guys, make sure you've hit that like button as well. Both help the channel and the video out a ton. Thank you all for clicking on this video. Let's get into it.
Big, strong lefty hitting only 188. Drives one deep into left center. Garrett Anderson way back there. This ball is gone. There goes Ramirez. That ball is hit well. Deep to right. Dive. Can't get to it. Off the wall. One run is in. Here comes Ramirez. And the throw goes right to the middle of the infield. And Boston has gone ahead on the first.
Now, if you're my age, you grew up on David Ortiz era baseball, but you forget what life was like before David Ortiz and before the Red Sox were this multi-championship team. I remember it being 2004, sitting on the floor, watching the final pitch be thrown in the 2004 World Series, watching him underhand that ball to first, listening to the announcers, and turning over to see my mom crying. At the time, I didn't realize this, but for years and decades, Boston was filled with so close moments and a whole lot of failure. David Ortiz was a massive reason why the Red Sox were able to turn that curse around and become a dominant team in the 21st century.
Ortiz into deep right field. Back is Sheffield. We'll see you later tonight.
After that, David would go on to lead us to another championship in 2007. And then in 2013, when the worst possible situation happens right there in our city, David Ortiz rallies a team, an entire city, state, region together and bring them a championship in a time where all hope felt lost.
All right, Boston. This jersey that we wear today, it doesn't say Red Sox. It says Boston. We want to thank you, Mayor Menino, Governor Patrick, the whole police department for the great job that they did this past week. This is our city. And nobody gonna dictate our freedom. Stay strong. Thank you.
David Ortiz was a beacon of hope for a lot of people for a very long time. He has the most home runs by a DH of all time and a World Series MVP. And most importantly, and I don't think a lot of people appreciate this enough, one of the hardest things to do in sports is to hit a baseball. It's almost impossible to hit a baseball consistently at the level David Ortiz did for the amount of time David Ortiz did. It is wildly important to me and to every Red Sox fan that David Ortiz's memory and accomplishments be enshrined in Cooperstown, and I couldn't be more happy to see that come true. Yes, it's unfortunate that names like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and Curt Schilling didn't end up being enshrined along with him, but I don't want that to dampen the fact that David Ortiz deserves this more than most players that I know. Off the field, David Ortiz was one of the nicest people in all of baseball. He always gave time for charity, and he was always a nice guy to talk to. I don't think I've ever heard one bad story about David Ortiz in the press, in anywhere, about him bad-mouthing or talking terribly to another player or fan. David Ortiz was more than just a baseball player in Boston. And for him to be able to make his mark on baseball forever is wildly impressive. Let me know in the comment section down below, what was your favorite David Ortiz moment, Big Papi moment in Boston? There are a ton of them, and I wanted to bring at least a couple of my personal favorites onto this channel. I'm going to end the video with a couple highlights where Big Papi was truly Big Papi. But let me know what yours in the comments below are, because I'd love to hear your David Ortiz stories. I want to leave with this one last story to prove to you how much David Ortiz meant to this city. When David Ortiz was chasing 500 home runs, I skipped school 3 weeks in a row to go to a baseball game to try to see that 500th home run. I wasn't alone either. Hundreds of thousands of kids around Boston and Boston area were trying to be there to witness their hero hit 500. Thank you for everything you did for baseball, for the Red Sox, for Boston, David Ortiz. You deserve this Hall of Fame enshrinement more than anyone I know. So congratulations and thank you. As for everyone who is still watching, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you are still watching, do me a favor, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also make sure that you guys have hit that like button as well. Enjoy these clips of David Ortiz, and I will see you in the next one.
Here's David Ortiz. You see that number today with 3 hits. This could be 4. Back it goes. It's over. The Red Sox win, and they're moving on up. Ortiz fights it off center field. Damon running to the plate, and he can keep on running to New York. Game 6 tomorrow night.
The payoff pitch. Big Papi hits it to deep right field. Big Papi, and the Red Sox walk off with the win.
Pats his hand on his heart. Pats his heart with his hand and waving to the crowd, turning around completely, now waving to the fans in the bleachers.